Good. I was hoping you'd show up. Lyris was right. This camp is crawling with the Ice Reach Coven. And they're definitely producing the medallions here. I was even able to slip away with one.
Oh.
We need to get closer, though.
Closer?
There's more to figuring out this magic than just watching from afar. I need to know exactly how they go about creating them. With your help, we can learn everything about that here in this camp.
What's so special about this camp?
It's a landing site for the boats coming from the island of Ice Reach. Plus, they're collecting something here that goes into the process of creating the medallions. If you can get me to the center of the camp, I can learn what that is.
I'll help you reach the center of the camp.
Determining how they create these medallions will be an enormous help. The Grey Host has accelerated their plans. They need more medallions for a reason. A big Harrowstorm is coming. We need to be ready.
Why do you think we can learn more at the center of the camp?
Because the Grey Host is guarding something down there.
Oh.
I couldn't get close, but it appeared that they built the camp to surround something. Plus, I heard a few of the witches talking. Complaining, really, about needing to prepare more medallions.
Tell me more about the Grey Host.
In the First Era, an army of vampires and werewolves tried to conquer the land before they were stopped in Bankarai. They called themselves the Grey Host. It seems this Rada al-Saran has resurrected the army, both figuratively and literally.
Okay, good to know. Lovely medallion. Alright.
Examine the headstones. Let's determine what's so special about the exhumed bodies.
Alright.
The graveyard. The Ice Reach Coven certainly enjoy defiling graves. They exhumed some of the bodies buried here, but not all of them. The ones they dug up must be important to the creation of the medallions. We need to learn why.
How do we determine why some bodies were exhumed and not others?
Obviously, the bodies are already gone. All that remains are the headstones. Maybe they'll provide a clue as to why those particular corpses were exhumed. And maybe that will tell me something about the process used to create the medallions.
Alright. Well, let's examine them. Let's see. Old. That word sprung out at me. Let's see. Anything else here? Let's see. Nika, corrupt, mother, dead, old. Okay. Let's see. Unknown. Merchant, daughter, old. Elec, son, chief killer, warrior, past with privy, old. I think there is something they have in common. Stone, a jerk, wastrel, brother, frozen blizzard, old.
Finished?
Alright.
Have you come to any conclusions? Well, we've both been over the headstones with a fine-toothed comb. If we can determine why the Coven dug up these particular bodies, it will tell us something about how the medallions were enchanted.
Okay, let's discuss what we found on the headstones.
Of course. Compare notes and look for commonalities. You have the makings of a fine scholar, my friend. Now, let's see. I noticed there were a mix of different races buried here. They weren't all Nords. Anything strike you about the departed?
They all shared something in common when they died.
They did? Tell me more.
Well, they were all old when they died.
Of course. Why didn't I see that? The headstones on the exhumed graves all mentioned that the person was old when they died. Let me think. Some necrotic spells require the remains of the elderly. Something to do with the natural decay of life.
The natural decay of life?
According to one necromantic theory, The older a living thing becomes, the more necrotic energy it naturally acquires. As a body grows old and withers, the life inside it decays. Necrotic energy is the byproduct of this deterioration.
That sounds like pseudoscience to me, but does that tell you enough to figure out how to create the medallions?
I now know enough about how they create the medallions to move my research along. I'll return to the Blue Palace and start putting an elixir together.
What else do you need me to do?
To fully craft an elixir to defend against the Harrowstorms, I still require a sample of refined netherroot brew. Plus, we need to determine what the Grey Host has planned. Help Lyris and Savannah at the other camps. Then meet me at the Blue Palace.
We got refined netherroot brew and the Grey House plans. Lyris and Savannah will meet us in solitude.
You have been busy, my friend. And there's nothing left for us to do out here. Let's return to the Blue Palace in solitude and see if our efforts are worth the risk. You go on ahead. I'll meet you there.
We could go together. Alright.
Do we have a way to defend against the Harrowstorms or what?
The elixir should do what we need, provided neither Fen nor I made any miscalculations.
Yolen, don't be so negative. The elixir will work. You'll see. Oh, good. You're back. Mjolin and I have been discussing the various ways to turn what we've got into a protective elixir. I'm hesitant to get too excited, but I think we've figured out how to defend against the Harrowstorms.
Tell me what you're thinking.
The Grey Host uses an unstable mix of alchemy and sorcery to create the Harrowstorms. An arcane ritual and the netherroot brew focus the power of each Harrowstorm through the prepared witch pikes. Ingenious, but fully exploitable.
Exploitable? How so?
We can use the refined brew as the basis of our elixir. Now that we understand how the Harrowstorms are created, we can use those same components to replicate the medallion's protective properties. We just need to gather the necessary components.
How can I help?
Svana's associate, Mog, will procure most of the supplies I need, but there's one final ingredient required. For various reasons, I can't simply walk into the Hall of the Dead and claim it myself. I need you to acquire Arkay's sacred oil.
Arkay's sacred oil?
A holy ointment associated with a god that became popular due to imperial influence. It's used by the priests in the Hall of the Dead to provide protection against necromancy and the undead. We need that oil to create our elixir.
But I'm a vampire. Finn, you can't send me to get anti-vampire oil. Finn.
You'll need my help. I'll meet you at the Hall of the Dead.
Yes,
Mog,
I will.
put away the tankard and get the supplies Fen requires.
Yes, your
need
royal
someone to carry it.
ladiness. But I'm keeping the tankard.